And it's very clear. She is a radical liberal. She's somebody that has said we ought to spend $32 trillion on Medicare for all.
A few moments later.
There is breaking news tonight from the presidential campaign. Former Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney, a staunch conservative and daughter of two staunch conservatives from a deep red state, is voting Democratic for president.
Question for you. When was the last time you were following an election and all the things that have taken place over the last couple of months happened? I mean, we are in crazy times. And one thing that is making this time around very crazy are these Trump deranged Republicans like Liz Cheney coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris. So in this video, we're going to look at the multitude of endorsements on both sides and break them all down. And where we're going to start is with what Liz Cheney had to say about Kamala Harris 4 years ago.
In one fell swoop here, he has put somebody on the ticket whose voting record in the Senate is to the left of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. So I think that, the American people are going to look at the substance of this. They're going to look at what she stood for in the past. They're going to look at what she said during the primary election. And it's very clear. She is a radical liberal. She's somebody that has said we ought to spend $32 trillion on Medicare for all. If you look at her record as well in California, she did, in fact, essentially ban gun sales with executive action.
Now, understand who Liz Cheney is, okay? She's the woman version of Adam Kinzinger, meaning these are part of the Republican Party who hate Trump with a passion. They also have Trump derangement syndrome. Unfortunately for them, it's fatal because they would rather come out and publicly, not privately, publicly endorse Kamala Harris. Understand what they're doing. They're committing political suicide at this point. Because if Kamala Harris becomes the president and she does at least 50% of what we say she's going to do, guess what? The voters who lean on the right, conservatives, Republicans, they're not going to stand for another Liz Cheney getting elected to office. And I don't think she probably will run for office right now. But anyways, that's who she is. So it makes you scratch your head when you hear her say these words.
As a conservative, as someone who believes in and cares about the Constitution, I have thought deeply about this. And because of the danger that Donald Trump poses, not only am I not voting for Donald Trump, but I would be voting for Kamala Harris.
If you hate Trump so much, is that still an excuse to vote for Kamala Harris? Now, just think about this. You either are going to vote for policy or you're going to vote because you have a grievance. And Liz Cheney is voting based on grievance. Okay? She's not voting on policy. She's not voting for policies that are actually going to help Americans. So what she's saying with her vote is, I know these policies will continue to hurt everyday Americans, but I have a problem with Donald Trump and I want to make sure he doesn't get back to the White House. I think she should just keep this private to herself. Now, when you come out publicly and you say this, you know what's going to happen. So I don't think she's doing any good whatsoever. And quite frankly, I don't even care for Liz Cheney. Neither should you. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion and who they want to vote for. But hey, I don't need to attack Liz Cheney or say anything about her really. At this point, we'll let J.D. Vance respond to her. And this is what he said.
Liz Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris.
Oh, no.
And it's so interesting, isn't it, that every failed warmonger in the established D.C., let's just say machine, is behind Kamala Harris. That the peacemakers are behind Trump and Vance. Blessed are the peacemakers, is what the scriptures say. Your thoughts, J.D.?
Well, maybe the best thing, not the very best thing, but a very good thing that I could say about the next presidency of Donald J. Trump is that he's going to make sure that people like Liz Cheney are laughed out of the Oval Office instead of rewarded. Because this is a person whose entire career has been about sending other people's children off to fight and die for her military conflicts and her ridiculous ideas that somehow we were going to turn Afghanistan, a country that doesn't even have running water in a lot of places, into a thriving liberal democracy. And for that, Liz Cheney was willing to kill thousands of your children. Liz Cheney, you know what? I think it's the best thing in the world that she's supporting Kamala Harris. You are right. Blessed are the peacemakers. Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney make very, very interesting partners. They get rich when America's sons and daughters go off to die. They get rich when America loses wars instead of winning wars. And they get rich when America gets weaker in the world. We want American strength, American security, and most importantly, peace. Let's bring peace back to the world. And Donald Trump is the candidate to do it.
Great response. And he actually reminded me of something I definitely need to touch on is the military component. Part of the Republican Party are individuals who love war, which is why they hate Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is not for war. No matter what the propaganda media channels want to tell you, he is not the person for war. Okay, so Liz Cheney is part of that military complex, similar to Nikki Haley. And that's why you see certain Republican figures not endorsing Trump. It's not just about January 6th, as they'd have you believe. It's about the fact that he doesn't support their foreign policy and how they think the government should be operated. Now, something very funny happened today, and I actually don't take it really seriously because I think it falls in the category of trolling, and I think it's the ultimate trolling move from a person that you wouldn't be thinking of that would do something like this. And that is Vladimir Putin endorsing Kamala Harris. Watch.
A surprising endorsement from Russian President Vladimir Putin. He says he supports Kamala Harris for U.S. president. The Russian president has long been considered friendlier with Republican nominee Donald Trump. But has that changed, or is Putin playing games? Have a listen to this remarkable comment.
As for the favorites, there is no need to define that. It's a choice by the people of America in the end. I've said that our so-to-say favorite was the acting president, Mr. Biden. He's been taken out of the race, but he advised all his supporters to support Mrs. Harris. That's what we'll do. We'll support her as well. That's the first thing. Secondly, her laugh is so expressive and infectious. That means that she's doing well.
Now, I mean, I don't know what you make of it, but what I make of it is obviously he's just trolling. I think that's what he's doing. He's poking fun at Americans. He thinks we're stupid, that we're even in this position. He knows Joe Biden is nothing. He knows that. He knows Kamala Harris is a zero threat to him. And this isn't about Donald Trump being friendly with Putin. Don't we want someone who leads this country in a way that they can sit down with people that are classified as the most dangerous leaders of other countries, like a Vladimir Putin? Wouldn't we want someone who's able to have open communication with that person and can negotiate with that person and can get things done with that person? Or do we want someone who's just going to get abused and ran over by that person? I mean, I don't know. I think that's common sense. So again, the media won't do that. Like, they won't give Trump credit for anything that Trump does that is a positive. They will never give him credit for. Why that is? It's very simple. Trump derangement syndrome. Now, this was kind of funny to me with the whole Putin endorsing Kamala Harris. But you know what I also found funny was the vice president nominee for the Democratic Party, Tim Walz, Stolen Valor. His family is endorsing Trump. And here's what Trump had to say about that.
His brother endorsed me.
I saw that.
And his whole family. I saw the picture. And honestly, it was a very nice looking family. But his brother endorsed me and the whole family endorsed me. I said, who are all the people?
Let me play Kamala.
There's something weird with that guy. He's a weird guy. JD is not weird. He's a solid rock. I happen to be a very solid rock. We're not weird. We're other things perhaps, but we're not weird.
Okay, so obviously that was a little entertainment. Now, let's be very clear, okay? Tim Walz has a brother who does not endorse Tim Walz. He won't endorse Tim Walz. He does not agree with Tim Walz's policies, but he has not come on audio or video to say, I am endorsing Donald Trump for the next president of the United States. So just for clarity purposes. And the family that you see here, now it's being reported because this picture went viral like crazy, is being reported that they're actually distant cousins. So they are part of the family. Their last name is Walz, but it's not like they hang out with Tim Walz every day. And that's what Fox Business Maria had to say about this. Watch.
Even Walz's family, Democrat vice presidential nominee Tim Walz in the spotlight now as his family appears to be endorsing Trump. This photo of his family members, extended family, they're wearing shirts that read, Nebraska Walz's for Trump. It's gone viral. Fox News spoke with them, and they said they consider themselves distant relatives of Walz as they've never met or spoken to him. So are they his family or not?
It's a great question. And they're in Nebraska. Will that really make a difference? Probably not. But listen, we are in a time where everything that can happen during an election year and season is happening. And these endorsements are coming out of the woodwork. All of these endorsements, it doesn't matter what side you're on. It's just crazy. I mean, when was the last time a Republican was getting 3 high-profile endorsements? RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and Elon Musk. So this leads me to some final points for you to take away from this video. Liz Cheney endorsing Kamala Harris is not going to do anything for her campaign. Okay. Endorsements mean little. It just depends on who they are. Now, obviously, RFK Jr., that's a big endorsement because he comes with voters, right? But Liz Cheney, she has no voters. Adam Kinzinger, he has no voters. So we're not really worried about individuals like that. So I say all that to say is that these endorsements mean little. And it says more about where the Republican Party is at today and how far left the Democrats have gone, which leads me to point 2, is these endorsements that you're seeing is really between people who want the old way of Washington, where you had the lobbyists and the donors and the military complex truly maintaining control, versus the individuals who say, screw the military complex, screw the donors, screw Washington, we want to do right by people. And my final point, look at the bigger picture here, folks. How many people went to the DNC and endorsed Kamala Harris? Did she get any bump in the polls from that? No. That's the crazy thing about endorsements. They don't always work. Now, Donald Trump did receive a slight bump in the polls from RFK Jr. So the bigger picture is, don't allow fake news like CNN or MSNBC or any of these people to make you think that a Republican who endorses Kamala Harris is a nightmare. So that's my mindset. What about you? What do you guys think about Liz Cheney endorsing Kamala Harris? The reactions? What about the Tim Walz extended family, distant family endorsing Trump? And all of this craziness that's happening, like Putin endorsing Harris. I want to hear what your thoughts are and more in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.